Olunaku olwaleero omubaka Joel Ssennyonyi akulira oludda oluvunaanya gavumenti ne banne mu paalamenti atudde ne banne okusobola okutema empenda ku nsonga ez'enjawulo ezigenda mu maaso mu paalamenti ya Uganda. Bano olunaku olwaleero tukijjukira bulungi nti lwe lunaku olusembayo ku mikono olukiiko oluggyamu Honorable Mpuuga Obwesigwa oluvannyuma lw'okunyagulula ssente y'omuwi w'omusolo. Bano batudde batema empenda ku nsonga ez'enjawulo ezigenda mu maaso mu paalamenti ya Uganda. Ensonga nnyingi ezibadde zigenda mu maaso mu paalamenti ya Uganda okuli Anita Among okuweebwa sanctions mu mawanga g'abazungu, obuli bw'enguzi obususse obukutte ejjembe mu paalamenti ya Uganda.
That all of us as MPs, staff, and so on can carry the mess and maybe furniture, whatever the case might be, that we take these things to the people. That's not what we meant. What we meant is that Parliament should be able to connect with the people and address their concerns. Listen to the cries of the people. These issues that you keep tabling, roads that are in a pathetic state, hospitals that are in a shambolic state, and so on and so forth. Parliament should be able to address those concerns of the people. That's what we meant by saying Parliament should get close to the people. That Parliament should be a people-centered Parliament. I've said that several because that's our vision as Parliament. A people-centered Parliament. That does not mean necessarily that all of us go and have a session there. No, it means addressing the concerns of the people. That in our deliberations, the people are at the center. In the budget that we pass, in the laws that we make, the people are at the center. The challenge there is that these regional sessions, the plan around it is problematic. I wrote a letter to the Speaker last week. And in this letter, I asked the Speaker, number one, it's important that the business committee should have sat regarding this issue. The Parliament is going to sit regionally. The business committee, which plans for the sittings of Parliament and those other activities, should have sat. The business committee has not sat. I also put it to the Speaker in this letter that I wrote last week. I said these sittings have got a financial implication. If you're going to carry 529 members of Parliament to Bulu, for example, plus staff of Parliament, it means transport, fuel, per diem, and so on and so forth, for all those MPs and for all the staff. So I was asking the Speaker, when did the Parliamentary Commission sit to pass this issue? Because it has got a financial implication. And matters of finance here at Parliament are dealt with by the Parliamentary Commission, not a single individual. The Office of the Speaker, Deputy Speaker, Leader of Government Business, all of them received my letter. I've not got a response to this letter. And so we, the opposition, are concerned. We are saying, how are these things happening? I'm sure, of course, people would be excited in whichever part of the country to receive members of Parliament, the 529 of us. There would be a bit of excitement and so on. But beyond that, what exactly do these people want? They want service delivery, not us just going to them. But also the process of how this is being handled is problematic. Because the business committee did not sit. The parliamentary commission has not sat. So who sat as the parliamentary commission? Did the Speaker sit on her own and say, I'm now the commission, and so I passed this issue, including the billions of shillings that this would require, because it would mean billions of shillings for all these 500 plus MPs and all the, I don't know how many staff that would need, people going to spend their days and so on and so forth. So I would like to encourage the Speaker of Parliament, allow the systems to work, allow the institution to function. The Parliamentary Commission last sat in August of last year. From Jan of this year, when I became leader of the opposition, I became part of the Parliamentary Commission. I've not attended even one single Parliamentary Commission meeting. Why? Why are we operating this way? What's being hidden? Because when things happen this way, people even begin to assume that maybe this is being done to account for some money, some billions of shillings. It's important that we operate in the open. And that's what I was telling the Speaker in this letter. The Business Committee should sit. The Parliamentary Commission should sit and pass this issue because it has got a financial implication. It should not be one individual sitting over these matters. I'm yet to get a response from the Speaker because I understand meetings are happening of staff and so on. Subcommittees have been put in place to prepare, but we the leaders do not know. As leader of the opposition, I have not got a formal communication about this, apart from her pronouncement, because when she made the pronouncement, it should be followed up with details. And the details have not come. Do not know, but meetings are happening. So we are saying it's not right that we are kept in the dark, because then it becomes suspicious while these things are happening. Very quietly, we are not given any information. Even when I write a letter, it's not responded to. So they think that we are all in this together. No, we are not. As the opposition, we are not. We don't know. That's why I'm writing to the Speaker to say, provide us with this information. How was this determined? It's important. It's important that we are transparent how we get to operate. Otherwise, the public out there is saying we should be working hard to reduce our expenditure. But now, we are increasing our expenditure, unnecessarily so. Because the people of Gulu, what they want is good roads. What they want is for Lacho Hospital in Gulu to be equipped with medicine, with doctors, and all the equipment that is needed. What they want is the schools in Gulu and Northern Region, generally, to be functional. And that's the same case with the people of Eastern Uganda, Western Uganda, Central, the entire country. Not so much that as members of parliament, we all travel and go there and then spend a lot more money. We can sit here in parliament and discuss these issues if we get to discuss serious issues. Challenge is sometimes the serious issues are not given attention. So the issue is not where we get to sit. The issue is what issues are you tackling when you get to sit even here. And also, finally, this issue, we are saying committees should be empowered to do their work. Committees work on behalf of parliament and they go to the field. So if there is an issue in Gulu, in the west, in the east, and so on, there is a committee, there's a sectoral committee in that line. If it is health committee. If it is roads, there's an infrastructure committee, and so on and so forth. Let's empower the committees to do this work. Committees are normally complaining they're not facilitated to do their work, that there is no money to go to the field. So where is money coming from for the entire parliament to go? So as opposed to the 529 of us going to these areas, let's empower committees to do their work. That's the work of committees. They go to the field, find out what they have found, interact with the locals, come back to parliament, give us a report, we discuss, and then we tell the executive what to do. We believe that that's how things should be operating. Number two, the State of the Nation address is happening the day after tomorrow. And the budget speech is next week. Firstly, regarding the State of the Nation address, this shadow cabinet, because this is the shadow cabinet, we've held a meeting and we have agreed not to attend the State of the Nation address and the budget speech for these reasons. The State of the Nation address consistently has become just ritualistic. Mr. Museveni comes to speak to the nation and is regurgitating the things he said in 1990, in early 2000, and so on. Just for your information, I have actually already prepared my response to the State of the Nation address because within our rules of procedure, the leader of the opposition is meant to respond to the State of the Nation address. My response is ready as of last week. You know why? Because I know what he's going to say. That's the reality. So my response is actually ready. It was ready last week because I know what he's going to say. So we think that that address, it is a mockery to the people of Uganda. People of Uganda want to hear, how are you tackling corruption? As opposed to defending it. How are you dealing with service delivery issues? How are you working hard enough to cut down on the expenditure, firstly of State House, which spends over 2 billion per day, to make sure that there is money available for service delivery? How are you dealing with human rights violations? Critical issues that the people of Uganda want to hear, followed by action. That's never the case. So we as the opposition are saying we don't want to escort Mr. Museveni in this ritual which is not making sense to the people of Uganda. We shall have our chance on the floor to have our response on what is critical that the people of Uganda want to hear. Because even by not attending, you know, we shall get to know what we'll have said on social media, but also we'll get a copy of that document. So no one can say, but what will you be responding to if you won't be attending? Like I've told you, it is ready, my response, because I know what he has always said and what he will say, but we shall also get a copy. But importantly, it is us saying the people of Uganda are tired of the ritual. They want real substance, and we as their representatives, we don't want to accompany you in just a mere ritual that does not make sense. The budget speech. Some will say, but you as MPs, the budget speech is, you know, the budget is yours collectively. You passed it together. Why? You can miss the State of the Nation address, but why would you miss the budget speech? Again, the reality is, the budget that was passed, we as the opposition, we cannot call it our budget. No. We had our alternative budget, which we unveiled. We laid on table our alternative ministerial policy statements that feed into the budget. We tabled our minority report, which was pointing to what we need, to what the budget needs to focus on. Our views were disregarded because we were saying we need to put more money in service delivery. Kampala alone generates over 60% of the country's revenue, but look at the roads in Kampala. And we're saying, don't milk a cow that you don't feed, put money there. Our views were disregarded. We said our debt burden, which is now at about 100 trillion shillings, we need to address it, first of all, reducing our appetite to borrow. Because even this money, when it's borrowed, what does it do? Much of it remains lying idle, and yet we have to pay interest. A year or two, it's not being utilized. There is no real value. Much of it is stolen. And so we're saying, can we reduce our borrowing appetite? Can we reduce on consumptive expenditure? When you see how much money is spent on a number of these votes, meanwhile, service delivery gets to suffer. So all these issues we adumbrated very clearly in our alternatives, but they were disregarded. You saw how the budget process, the appropriation was handled. A corrigenda was brought last minute, adding 14 trillion shillings to the budget. Last minute. They pushed it through, and because they have the numbers, it passed. So we are saying, no, this is not the budget of the people of Uganda, the kind of budget we would want to see. We have shared what the real concerns are, where we need to push money. Healthcare, roads that are in a shambolic state, education. Look at, capitation grant that is sent per child, between 15,000 to 20,000 capitation grant per child UPE for an entire year, and you expect this child to compete globally. How? It does not make sense. So all these, as we did share in our alternative budget, our alternatives, our minority reports, but all of these were disregarded. So because they have the numbers, they passed what they want to pass. So it is not our budget, because our views were disregarded. Yes, we are in the minority, but listen to those views. Listen to what the people of Uganda are saying. They're always complaining and saying, but wait a minute, we need to cut down on expenditure. So we have agreed also not to attend the budget speech because we are protesting what was encapsulated in the budget, disregarding critical issues of service delivery to the people of Uganda, but also the process. You saw at some point the speaker put the question, and it was clear who had the majority. Because she asked, I put the question, those in favor say aye, to the contrary, nay. And the resounding voice was clear, but she declared a different result altogether. People were shocked. So all of these processes, we are saying, this was problematic. And we don't want to just escort this. And by the way, this concern is not just of us in the opposition. Even some colleagues in the NRM, they were bothered and they expressed their concern with us and said, wait a minute, what just happened? How can a corrigenda be brought last minute and then it is pushed very quickly? It's as if we're hurrying to deal with I don't know what, because the budget should have been passed by the 31st of May. We had adequate time all through. Why things get to be done in such a hurry and others are being hidden underneath? So even some colleagues in the NRM are complaining, and we are hoping that they will speak out as well. So this is not just a concern of we in the opposition, because even then, they want services delivered in their areas, and so they were saying, we need to cut down on some of these things. And so that is why we are saying we shall also not attend the budget speech, because we must be on record regarding the right things that should be done. Finally, there's an ongoing censure motion for the parliamentary commissioners. We want to appreciate members of parliament from the ruling NRM and the different opposition parties that have so far appended their signatures to this motion. We want to applaud them, because it's a bold move for those that have, because these commissioners, they are our colleagues, they are friends to many members of parliament, and so on and so forth. So it's a bold step for one to say that even though you're my friend, even though we belong to the same party, let me censure you because of an illegality and irregularity that did happen. So we appreciate everybody that has done so, and we encourage others that have not signed to sign, so that we rectify an irregularity that was occasioned for people to sit and award themselves money in such a surreptitious manner a few months into the office, and they're giving themselves a service award. For what exactly? Now, we have had some voices say that, but this money was passed by Parliament. Why are people complaining? Is that actually true? When you read the Ministerial Policy Statement and the report of the Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee, which handles the Parliamentary Commission, and you look at the budget that was passed, there's no such a thing as 1.7 billion shillings to go to Honorable Mpuuga, Honorable Silwani, Honorable Akampulira, and Honorable Afoyochan. It's not there. And I challenge any member of Parliament to avail a document to that effect. It's not there. What we think could have happened, because in the Ministerial Policy Statement and even the report of the Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee, a case was made for a wage shortfall of 45.65 billion, saying that this money had been cut as being part of the Parliamentary Commission. So it creates a wage shortfall. So Parliament resolved, let's reinstate that, so that there's no wage shortfall, so that people are paid their salaries, including staff and so on. So if it was hidden in such a figure, that makes it even more illegal. That makes it even more problematic. If it was hidden in the benefits of past leaders, that makes it problematic. Because the benefits of past leaders were debated on the floor of Parliament. Even when some of us had an alternative view, at least it was passed. And we know about it. And that's why you saw former speakers getting cards and so on and all of these different things. Yeah? Many of us were opposed, but the majority had that, so at least it was debated and passed. And we are, by the way, saying it's problematic when somebody who was former vice president, he was also former speaker and also former deputy speaker, is getting benefits of all those offices. It's shabby. It is wrong. But it was debated, and the majority had that day. When did Parliament debate this 1.7 billion shillings to these commissioners? When? Where are the documents to that effect? I challenge anyone to bring the answer showing that we debated this issue. We did not. So if it was hidden somewhere within the lump sum and taken care of there, that makes it even more problematic. The more reason why we are censuring these commissioners, because we must operate transparently. If it was an okay thing, why did we debate it? A few weeks ago, Parliament debated a service award to the outgoing Auditor General. I stood up and said, this person is entitled to benefits. let's leave it at the benefits that he's entitled to. But colleagues said, no, he also deserves a service award. And it was debated. In fact, somebody was suggesting 1 billion shillings. Eventually, Parliament zeroed down on 500 million shillings for Mr. John Muwanga, the outgoing Auditor General. It passed, even though many of us opposed it. But at least it was debated. When did we debate and pass this 1.7 billion shillings to these 4 people? Honorable Mathias Mpuuga, Honorable Solomon Siwani, Honorable Prosia Kampulira, and Honorable Esther Apoyechan. We did not. So let's not hoodwink the public to say that those of us who are speaking about these issues, we are dishonest, we passed this thing. We did not pass it anywhere. So if you hid it somewhere within the lump sum budget, and that's where you're taking care of it from, that makes it even more problematic. The reason why these are our colleagues. In fact, we had expected that these are our colleagues would be leaders worth their names and say, you know what, this is problematic, let's step down. Don't even wait for us to push you out. But since they've chosen not to do that, we shall do what we have got to do. And also to cleanse our name, because you cannot say we passed this and now we are being dishonest. We did not. And I challenge anyone to avail information to the contrary. Those are the 4 issues that I wanted to share with us. I can very quickly translate them into Luganda for your Luganda news. Can we take the question after? Let me first, Madam read this, then you can take questions. I'm sure there are questions about a few other things. Okusokera ddala tubeebaza kubanga muzze ku short notice. Tubadde wano nga muwulira ebikompolo ebweru. Tiyagaasi oba mulimu n'amasasi era mukyabiwulira. Abakozi ba KCCA abeera enguudo n'abalala bali mu kwekalakaasa. Lwaki? Sente zaabwe kati emyezi 4 tebazibawa. Abantu bano okusokera ddala akasente bafuna katono. Twaloga 15 omwezi. Ate nga bakola emirimu mingi. Bakeera ssaawa 9 ssaawa 10 nga beera enguudo. Abamu babakoona n'obakoona kubanga abatami babeera bavuga ssaawa ezo. Bayita mu buzibu bw'ekitalo. Akasente bafuna katono. Naka akatono tekatuuka ku bantu bano. Myezi 4 abaana kati bazzeeyo okusoma. Omuntu afunye kasente k'emyezi 4 anaabeerawo atya, aneeriisa atya ne famire ye. Banaye tubeere fair. Minisita wa Finance namuteeka ku nninga mu Paalamenti ebuvuddeko awo n'akakasanga Paalamenti nti sente zino. Naye bo bagambye nti tujja kuvaayo tubeebaza olw'obuvumu obwo. Nga bwe tuyogerako ebintu bino amaloboozi ga mwenna mwe gavengayo mu mirembe era kirungi ekyokujja ku Paalamenti nga mwekalakaasa kubanga Paalamenti eyiza sente zino. Minisita wa Finance ekitubuulira mu Paalamenti sente zaayizibwa. Kati kirungi ne muvaayo era temusirika. Kubanga bw'osirika osigala onyigirizibwa. Mweyongere okwogera ku nsonga ezo, naffe eno bwe tulwana nga bwe tubuuza answers.